Okay, hello class. Welcome to another IELTS speaking practice. So today, class L40, they are going to do their regular speaking practice. So class, are you ready?
Yes, I'm
Oh no,
ready.
someone is drilling something. Someone is drilling something upstairs or maybe downstairs. Oh my god. They have to do it on a Sunday. Okay, let's go to topic part one first. And topic number 32 we did already. No, we didn't do that. Okay, so Mr. Please, what do you usually do on weekends?
Well, basically, I would go to my extra classes on weekends, but sometimes if I have free time, I would do some pastime activities at home, such as reading, listening to music, or helping my grandparents or my parents with the house chores. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but for some special occasions on weekends, I usually spend time hanging out with my friends at the mall or going shopping.
That's a great idea, don't you think? Going with friends to the
Mhm.
mall. I think it's an excellent idea. So, how about you, Phúc? What do you usually do on weekends?
So, actually, I usually hang out with my friends on the morning, and in the evening, I usually play foot play football.
Mm-hmm. You usually play football, I say. Is that why you always ask me to leave the class a bit earlier?
Yeah, usually sometimes I need to win out for another reason.
I see. So, did you do anything special last weekend, Mr. Phúc?
Yeah. Well, actually, in the morning, in the Saturday morning, I
On Saturday
have
morning? On Saturday
on
morning?
Saturday morning I have competitions. Yeah,
Competition? What kind of competition is that?
competitions. Yeah, it's about football with another football team, and it's quite special for me because I never met that team before, and play I never played on a new stadium. Like I never play in a big stadium.
Okay, I see. So, how about you, Trung? Did you do anything special last weekend?
I did actually. I did nothing really special last
Mm.
weekend. Because I think I have a lot of drama and struggle with the job and the work and
Oh,
the
that's
colleagues
that
at
sounds
work. So
absolutely horrible, no?
I prefer my weekend to be as peaceful as possible.
As peaceful as
So
possible. I
uh,
see.
there's
Peaceful and quiet,
there's
right?
yeah there's nothing special that I did last weekend. Yeah.
I see. All right. So, what will you do next weekend then, Mr. Trung?
Next weekend as a officer, a person who goes to work in the office, I would do my casual routine. Um, Go to work, uh, do sports after working hours, and sometimes I can have a date with my friends.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I text to some friends and we can talk with each other at the cafe after work.
I see. Right. So, Tương, please, what do other people in your country usually do on weekends? They go to Blackpink concerts, huh?
I think that people will have various choices like of activities that they will do on weekends. Like for some adults, they would love to go shopping with their friends, or they would spend time staying at home and like relaxing for themselves. And for the children, they would love to go to a playground or like go to visit their friend's house to spend time there. And especially for teenagers like me, we would love to spend time in some like for some entertainment facilities like the cinema or like the mall, or we can pay a visit to museums or any galleries.
Okay, so Tường, do you think weekends are necessary?
I think that, like in my opinion, I would love to have weekends as a day off after a long hard working week, because we need some time to relax ourselves and to recharge the batteries for the following week. So that I think it's really vital for people to have weekends as an ideal time to do anything that they like, or an ideal time to immerse themselves in the pastime activities, or to at least have some rest time to for like to prepare for the next week. So I think after all, I think that weekends are necessary for people, and I think
Necessary, I'm down.
Necessary for most of people.
Okay. Now, so Mr. Trung, do you think weekend should be longer than just 2 days? Maybe we have 3 or 4 days weekend. You know.
I do support the idea that weekend should be kept as long as just 2 days. I believe 2 days is enough for people to have some rest, and second to prepare for the next week. So I believe 2 days is enough. Yeah. Because if we relax too much, our skill or our competence, okay, can get
Yes, our competence will go down, right? We won't remember the work that much.
That's it. Okay, we need to keep on practicing, exercising, working to improve ourselves and to hone our skills. Yeah.
Do you think like, okay, so Phúc, do you think that if we have one day off on Sunday and another day off on Wednesday, is it a good idea? Instead of having like, Saturday and Sunday off, just like these days, What do you think? Trung said yes.
I think that it's fine for me because
Boring.
Why? No, it's fine for me because I just need 2 days off, and like I just need 2 days off a week per week. So this can be in any day in a week. Like this can be on Sunday and Thursday. It's okay. It's on Sunday and Wednesday. It's okay. I just need 2 days off per week. So it's never mind. So I don't think it's a problem. So I don't think it's a problem to me.
Oh, I see. But Phúc, do you think weekends are necessary?
Well, I think weekend is necessary because we need to reduce stress after 5-day work or maybe 6, and we can have in a weekend we can spend more time for our families and for myself.
Okay, to my family, for myself, exactly. Well, I think when I was younger, they tried having like Wednesday and Sunday off, but Saturday we still had to go to class. And I'm not sure what I felt about that, but it seems good, because sometimes, like, when you start working on Monday, and Monday is always very stressful, and then Tuesday, and then by the end of Tuesday that you will have a day off on Wednesday. And then we start working again on Thursday, and then Friday, and then Saturday. Okay, 3-day working, and then you have a day off on Sunday. Don't you think dividing a week into 2 like that, it's a better idea, folks?
What?
You don't understand what I said, did you? Nó cũng liên quan vụ mà chia tuần năm 2 thôi. Do you think it should be that way?
Can you repeat the answer, please? My connecting is weak. Hello?
Yes, please continue. What do you say?
I said that, can you repeat the answer, please?
I said that, do you think people should have like Wednesday off and then Sunday off? Like, do you think it's a good idea?
Well, I think that actually I have no idea about it, but I just think that people need to have 1 or 2 days off to take care of their health and their families. So I have no idea about it.
I see. All right. What do you think, Tương? Do you think there should be like a Wednesday and Sunday off instead of like Saturday and Sunday off, like these days, like today, like what happened?
Well, I think it's a great idea because, like as you mentioned before, Mondays are always stressful, and then following up is Tuesday. But if it's following up is a day off on Wednesday, I think that people tend to have like the motivation to work more than, because they think that we have to only work for 2 days and then we can have a day off to relax ourselves. Then the other things that we have to work 5 days until we have day off on weekends like Saturdays and Sundays. So I think that they would try to finish the work as well as possible, and then they can totally free on a Wednesday off. So yeah, after that they can work only for 3 more days before they have another day off. So
yeah, but then working 5 days and then waiting until Friday is a terrible idea. Do you think?
Yeah, I think that divide the weekends like that style can reduce the stress level, because they do not have to deal with the deadlines and the work for a long time like that.
Exactly. Well, for me, I mean, weekends the same as every day. You see, I work every day. I do not take a day off. But the thing is, my work is divided into several blocks. So I do not have to deal with deadlines. And the stress level is divided. It's not like, too stressful at one point or something like that. So I don't feel the stress because I'm a freelancer. But for any worker working for people, they are under lots of stress and deadlines. So maybe that's a good idea, I think. So class, let's try number 33. It's about wild animals. So do you have a favorite wild animal, Tương?
Talking about wild animals, I have paid a visit to the zoo to have an overall look. The zoo to have an overall look of the wild animals there. The most kind of animals that impressed me a lot is a kind of a monkey. It's not totally a monkey, but I do not remember the exact name of that type. It has a really special appearance with the red spots on his body, and a little white spot on his whole body. And he's really smart. Like he interacts with the cats. He interacts with the cats and interacts with the other monkeys in the cage. He eats banana. He did jokes. Like he did a lot of things like humans. And I think that and he's really funny too. Like he did jokes on human, and he did a lot of things. Like he's smart, so that I was really impressed by that types of monkeys. So I spent a lot of time standing in front of his cage, interacting with him for for a long time, like an hour, more than an hour.
But okay, so Trung, do you have a favorite wild animals?
Oh, yeah. A wild animal. Yeah, okay. So there's one wild animal that I really love. Although this kind of animal is not in favor of many people. This animal is the crow.
Is the what? Is the what?
The crow. The crow, right?
The crow, I think.
Crow.
Let me check. Sometimes I forgot how it is. It's a crow.
Crow. Crow.
It's a crow, a blackbird. Con quả đen. Unpleasant cry, very unpleasant cry. Like that.
But the crow is very smart.
It is very smart.
Yeah. Just because they are black doesn't mean that they bring the bad luck. So,
of course not.
Yeah, but it is unfortunate that people associate the crow with the bad luck.
I do think it's very unfortunate.
But in fact, the crow is very smart. And thanks to its intelligence, okay, the crow can thrive in the wildlife, and thanks to their black outlook, they did not get any attention from the predators. Okay, so I really love.
They're black and they can avoid being detected by predators. That's perfect description, actually. Very good. Okay. I see. So, folk, please, did you learn anything about wild animals at school?
Well, actually, I don't think we just learn about wild animal on our books. Like we just hear about it, but our teacher didn't teach about it.
It's a shame, isn't it?
Yeah.
Quite a shame that people don't
Yes.
talk about them.
I even learned science. My teacher said that he will took our class into the lab to study about frogs. But after years, when I tốt nghiệp là sao đây?
After I graduated,
when I graduated, when I graduated, em chưa xuống phòng thí nghiệm một lần nào hết.
I have never been to the laboratory ever after my graduation. Yeah.
I never been to the laboratory after I graduated.
Such a shame. Oh well. That's how it is. Okay, in Vietnam is how it is. Right, so folk, do you like to watch TV programs about wild animals?
Oh, well, actually, not at all, because like if they talk about like they giới thiệu là sao này?
Yeah, then like they introduce it.
Yeah, like if they introduce about animals
Introduce the
or
about the animal. If they introduce the animals, yes.
introduce animals, I don't interesting in it, because I think it's kind of boring, but like I like to watch when the lion or the cheetah trying to fight each other, or maybe they are like when they searching for something to eat. Yeah.
Right. Okay, so Trung, please, does your country have a strict law to protect wild animals?
Okay, sadly, Vietnam doesn't have any strict law to protect wild. I'm sorry. My country, Vietnam, does have a strict law to protect the wild animals. However, the educational level of the people is
It's
very
absolutely
low.
horrible.
Horrible, to be correct, is very low, and there's a saying that they eat whatever kind of animals they encounter in the forest.
That's absolutely horrible.
Yes,
You know.
that, and even now some people still keep dogs and cats as
disgusting.
pests, and they still eat the dog meat and cat meat in another place. Yeah, it's a very conflicting situation.
A very conflicting situation indeed, yeah.
Yeah, and my country do have strict laws to protect animals, but the level of education of the citizens is not high. Yeah.
Well, it's still very low, I have to say. Still very low. Oh well, we cannot wait until it's not the educational level. It's actually the intellect, the awareness of people, you know. Cái giáo dục nó khác với lại cái mức độ hiểu biết nha, cái mức độ mà có ý thức nha. So I have seen so many people who have their masters or even like PhD who still litter on the street, you know, vẫn xả rác trên đường phố nha. Có tiến sĩ vẫn rác đường phố nha. I've seen people like that. So awareness is different from education. So Mr. Trung, did you learn something about wild animals at school?
When I was in my secondary high school, I
Bless
really
you.
love the biology class, because they taught all about the animal. So I learned many things about wild animals at school. Yeah.
I see. So, Mr. Does your country have a strict law to protect wild animals? You know, we do have laws, but is it enforceable? Nó có dễ dàng được thi hành thực hiện enforceable không?
Well, I think that Vietnam do have like some laws against the hunting, the catching, or killing the forest animals illegally. But I do not think that they are strict enough to ban those hunters or the poachers to capture, to kill, and to transport the wild animals. So, and I have to be honest that Vietnamese people do not see the long-term benefits of protecting the wild animals as well as their habitats and their wildlife, because it's just think that if they capture and they stop and they sell those wild animals, they can earn some money from that, but they cannot see the long-term benefits of protecting any nature, any kinds of nature, the forests, or even the wild animals. So it's just because of the awareness and of each individual. So I think that individual. And yep, so I think that there should be more some official law about protecting animals to stop people and to prevent people from killing wild animals.
Very good, Mr. So, okay, we can go to part 2 and part 3 now. Okay, so 32, 33 already done. Okay, so let's try 71. Okay, we did something about rules, school rules and law already. Okay, let's try a harder topic about history now. But maybe we can do something easier first before we go to history now. Okay, so let's do 75 now. Describe a difficult thing you did. Miêu tả một điều mà khó khăn mà bạn đã làm. You should say what it was, how you did it, or how you completed it, why it was difficult, and how you felt about doing it. And let's look at part 3 here. What kind of jobs require people to be confident? Những cái loại công việc nào nó yêu cầu con người ta phải tự tin? Think about it. There's a lot of different kind of jobs that fit this description, you know. There's a lot of kind of job that fit the description. There are, let's just say there are many jobs that fit this description. Description. Có nhiều loại công việc mà nó phù hợp với lại cái miêu tả giống vậy lắm. Like for example, any job that requires you to deal with people, you know. Bất kỳ công việc nào liên quan đến làm việc với con người á, you all need your confidence. More is when you have to use your image. Like for example, in business, in education, in entertainment. Đó, những cái ngành như giải trí, giáo dục hoặc là ngành media, các thứ gì mình phải dùng cái hình ảnh của mình á. You have to absolutely be confident now. You cannot show yourself as a shy person. You cannot. Okay, so on what occasion should children be encouraged? How? Trên những dịp nào trẻ em nên được khuyến khích? Tại sao? And how do you help children stay focused? Làm thế nào con người ta giúp cho trẻ nhỏ cứ liên tục là phải tập trung, stay focused? Because you know children, they can easily get sidetracked. Có thể dễ dàng bị đánh lạc hướng, bị sao nhãng. They can easily get sidetracked. But how do you keep children stay focused is very important. Cái chuyện mà tập trung nó quan trọng lắm luôn á. To stay focused, to concentrate is very important. Because without concentration, without the focus, they cannot get work done. They cannot get work done. Không thể nào làm xong được việc cả. Okay, what challenges do young people face today? Người trẻ phải đối mặt với những cái thách thức nào ngày nay? Think about AI, you know, artificial intelligent. Hở ra một cái là nó lấy mất việc của mình ngay. If you're not careful, they will take away your job and you will be jobless, you will be unemployed and poor, you know. What challenges do young people face today? Well, think about the fact that the competition is very fierce. Cạnh tranh khiếp lắm luôn ở trong công việc. Because there's so many people and the supply. Think about the supply. It outweigh the demand. The supply outweigh the demand. Cái nguồn cung cấp á, thì nó vượt quá cái cung nhu cầu, the demand của cái xã hội. So that's why competition has been really fierce. Cạnh tranh và người ta đuổi việc rất là dễ dàng luôn ấy. People can lay off, you know. Lay off happens very easily. That's what young people have to face today, these challenges. Think about other things. social isolation, sự cách ly xã hội. You know, people these days, they don't talk to each other that much about their problems and how to solve problems. They don't talk to each other very well because of social media, because of smartphone. You know that. Thật sự smartphone là một trong những cái mà thách thức lớn nha. Tại vì nó làm cho xã hội bị tách biệt, bị tách ra nhiều, con người ta không nói chuyện với nhau nhiều nữa. And then it leads to social isolation. And people feel lonely, can sometimes you feel very lonely, That can lead to depression. Trầm cảm đấy nha, phải không đâu. Depression and other kind of mental issues, những vấn đề thần kinh, những vấn đề về tâm thần khác. I'll think about those things. And there might be more challenges as well. Just to name a few, Chỉ để nêu tên một số điều thôi. But you have to think of your own challenges, Alright. Okay. Trung, you first, please.
Okay.
Okay, please describe a difficult thing you did.
Yeah, so there's one difficult.
Yes, please describe it. Cứ nói đi Trung, please.
So so there was a difficulty. One difficult thing to do is to have a conversation with a family member because it's terrible because what I think is good for me is not what they think is good for me, so it's really hard.
So the idea, what's good for you between you and that family member is different.
Yeah, it's really hard to find a common ground for both of us. And okay, so currently we just don't have any real solution, and it's a very difficult situation. But I'm not too worried, and I think in the near future, I and that family member could find a solution for both of us. Yeah.
It's very funny because you are already an adult, and why would they have an idea of what's good for you? You're no longer a kid. You can decide for yourself. You can basically, if you don't agree with them, what's good for you, you don't even have to keep on talking to them, because things can only get worse. Remember that. So how you felt about it?
First I feel very saddened, but because we are all grown up, so I need some time and more experience to process. And I hope, I do believe that in the future we will have a resolution. Yeah.
I see. Right, a resolution indeed. Now, so Tường, please, can you describe a difficult thing you did?
So I guess that I would like to talk about a difficult thing that I did during the period of the pandemic, COVID-19. So I guess that was a really hard time for anyone, but at that period of time, I studied a skill and I wanted to learn how to cook. So that at the beginning, it was a hard nut to crack for me because to learn about cooking. Because when I was in secondary school during my studies time, I have never learned how to cook before for myself and for also my family. So that in the period of lockdown, I had a lot of time. So I wanted to learn something that is new and productive at that time. I thought that I had to learn this thing despite it's being a difficult thing for me, but I also believe that it is essential skill for the individuals and everyone should know this skill. So yeah, I decided to learn how to cooking, and I'm also the kind of person who believes in learning and learning. So I told my mother to teach me how to cook because I think that she's the best chef in my family,
Mhm.
and I put all of my belief in her. Um, to be honest, that at the beginning I learned about the ingredients of the spices of each meal, and my mother and I decided to make at least one dish on regular basis so I could learn quickly. And it took me around 3 months during the pandemic to learn how to actually know how to cook a meal, an official meal for my family. And apart from this, I also took help from the YouTube channels, like some cooking channels on the YouTube, to help myself with the cooking. And after learning this, I felt extremely proud of myself and glad. And I think that everyone should know this basic skill, because it's going to have help people a lot in their daily life, not to depend on anyone to cook for us, or we can cook for our meal and for our family too.
Okay, very good. Phúc, please, your turn to describe a difficult thing you did.
Hello.
Yes, we're listening to you. Please.
Well, it was 3 months ago. I had to take a big exam that every student have had graduate grade 9 need to take a big exam to go to school that they choose
Go to
to
the school that they choose.
go to the school that they choose to continue study grade 10. This was a very important exam. So
Okay.
this were a little bit difficult for me because I feel scared and I didn't study much. And when I take the math exam, it was very difficult for me because I not good at
I
math.
wasn't good. I wasn't very
I
good
wasn't
at.
good at math, so it's quite a bit difficult for me. But luckily, I have a school to study, but it's not the first school that I choose, but it's second choice,
Second
second
choice,
school,
right? The second choice,
second
right?
choice. Yeah, it was second choice.
Okay.
And after that exam, I feel that I need to like I don't want to try it anymore. Yeah,
Well, we only get to go to that exam once in our life, most of the time, right?
but I think there are university. Yeah,
Oh, come on. There are so many exams in life, and exam in school is just a small little thing. Just ask Mr. Trung and he will tell you that same thing. In
Okay,
life, there are
yeah,
many more exams, right?
yeah, that's it. Okay, and the lesson in life is way harder than the lesson you study in the school.
It's
Yeah.
so much harder. Oh my god. It's terrible, actually.
So you should be grateful because you are the student, and you are provided with food and the pocket money and the
Mm-hmm.
bike and everything, every supply, the facility, the amenity, everything that your parent is provided you with. You should be grateful for that because
Uh-huh.
after you are
I think so
after
too. People should
the grad
definitely be grateful, you know.
yeah, because after the graduation, when you are thrown out of the school into the life and have to earn money, this would be a big, really big difficult
It's
lesson.
it's so difficult. Ugh. Now, okay, so Mr. Fook, what kind of jobs require people to be confident then? What do you think? Hmm? I'm here.
hello.
I'm here,
Yeah,
listening to you, waiting for you.
well, in my opinion, I think that actually I still a student, but I think that when you work in a coffee shop, I think you need to be confident because sometimes we have some customers trying to
Yes.
Like they trying to make problem to and kiểu làm khó thầy
And to make life difficult for you. To make
and
life
make life
difficult for you.
and to make
Làm
life
khó làm
difficult
khó mình. To make life difficult for you. Yes.
to make life difficult for you and but you can't do anything. You just need to confident, like
To be
smile back to
confident, right?
them, and yeah, and you need to smile back to them because you can't do anything to them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it doesn't go into the question like what kind of job require people to be confident, you know. You're talking about problems of jobs.
Yeah.
Ủa cái đâu có liên
Oh well,
quan
I
đâu.
think that was
Yeah.
Well, I think as well reception.
Okay.
I think as well the waiter, the waitress, the actress, and maybe
Do you think waiters and waitresses need to be confident?
yeah, because sometimes will have a problem, so
There will
I
be
think
sometimes
they
there
will
will be
they will
problems.
sometimes there will be a problem, so I think they need to be confident to solve the problem.
Can you specify? Can you specify like what kind of problem then?
Like sometimes customers trying to make difficult to them, like they call the coffee, but they like the customer call the coffee, but after that they don't remember that they called, so they trying to make difficult to the
They try to
waiters.
say that they try to ignore. They try to
They try to ignore.
Deny. They try to deny having to pay for that, right?
Yes.
And that can make life difficult.
Yes.
But it still doesn't convince me why this job require you to be confident, you know. Nó vẫn chưa đủ độ thuyết phục. Tại sao lại cần sự tự tin? Still, I don't understand.
Actually, I hiện tại là em chỉ mới thử làm bồi bàn nên em nghĩ cái đó cần tự tin, chứ mấy cái khác thì em chưa biết.
Okay. Oh, that's why your first job was waiter. How did it go? Was it good?
It's okay because I just work for a month in the summer to earn money.
Try to work for, let's say, a convenience store, you know, like maybe Circle K,
But I don't like they require people about
They require
18.
people what?
Yeah, they require people about 18 years old or
Oh, you're not 18
more.
yet. I'm sorry, I forgot.
Yeah, I'm just 15, like nearly 16.
Okay, 16, 15, I see. Right. Well, according to the Vietnamese law, you are not allowed to work yet, I think. Oh well, you can work part-time. I mean, you can help people and they pay you. So it's not considered as work, you know, it's just like helping. Anyway, so Mr. On what occasion should children be encouraged and how?
I think that there are various types of situations when children need to be motivated and encouraged. Like when children feel hesitant or confused to start any new thing, and they have fear about failing, or they have fear about the things that they decided to do. So people should encourage children to do something that uh, that will be productive or beneficial for the future. And like when they are hesitant about something, that we will give them motivations and encouraging to help them move forward. Like for example, encouragement towards some their potential skill like art or drawings or paintings or music really help them to have a decision to start those new skills.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I see. Right, so Mr. Trung, how do you help children stay focused then?
Oh, okay. So this is a really tough question for
It
me
is a tough question, yes.
because I, as a grown up, okay, could not find the best way to stay focused. So my advice for the children to stay focused is to love what you to love what they do,
To love what I
and
do,
when
yes.
and when they pay a lot of attention to the thing they love to do, they
Okay.
would forget all about the surrounding and focus on really one thing.
Focus
The
on.
thing focus on one thing, the thing that make them interest. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, right, I see. Right, so Mr. Phúc, please. So what challenges do young people face today then?
Well, in my opinion, I think that the challenge that young people face today is they were like they can't find job to do, and they facing with like a lot of chi phí là gì này?
A lot of costs that have to be paid, right?
Yeah, they facing with a lot of costs need to pay.
A lot of cost that need to be paid, yes.
And facing with they don't have job to do.
Okay. Anything else? Like, what kind of thing they have to do now? I told you before about AI, you know, taking jobs. What do you think about it?
AI well, I think that they need to like they facing with
They have to face joblessness or unemployment due to AI, you know.
they have to face the unemployment due to AI, and they need facing to the
Facing to
lot
the là sao? They need to
of,
face
they
what?
have to face to
Face cái gì đó không? What to? Không có giới từ.
face
They have to face what?
a lot of costs in their life and their study.
Mm-hmm.
Like they need to pay a lot of cost, and kiểu em chỉ nghĩ được hai cái đó là
Okay, so what do you think? What challenges do young people face today?
I guess that there are so many things that young children have to face with today, such as the first things is that about the competitions and peer pressure among the young generations.
Peer pressure,
Like
very well. Áp lực bạn đồng trang lứa, very good.
they have the competition between the two young generations, and then they fight with each other to gain the opportunities or gain the prize or even gain a scholarship between each other. So I guess that people usually be under pressure of having too many things to do in their life, as well as that is there about their health issues, because that I think that the young generations do not focus much on their health issues due to the fact that they have to work a lot for their deadlines, and they have to deal with a lot of things deal with their family, deal with their work, with their study, and they are lessly like focused on the health issues between like such as stress and depression caused by the pressures and that they have to face or the challenges.
Okay. Right. So what do you think, Trung? What challenges do young people face today then?
Okay, so today, young people are facing a lot of challenges. One of which is the advance of technology. They are provided with electronic stuffs such as the smartphone and the computer. And these devices can be both helpful and harmful to them. So, for example, the children are exposed to some adult contents at the early age, and the content is not good for them, and they just follow it. They got the wrong mindset, and that wrong mindset follow them until they become an adult. Okay, so that's one big challenge that the young people face today. And another issue that young people face today is the peer pressure.
Yeah, you talk about peer pressure now.
It is created by not the friends, but their parents. Yeah, because the parents put a lot of money, effort, and they dream their hope into the children, and they wish that the children to complete the thing that they are unable to do. And when the children fail their expectation, the children are unhappy, and the father are not, the parents are not happy either.
Okay, yeah. The parents are not happy either. Very good.
And okay, so one more thing is when children are disappointed by their parents, they get together and find a way to escape the reality. So they will find some kind of unhealthy entertainment. Let's just say the drug, okay, and the stimulating chemicals. Yeah.
You mean they use drugs just to help with their depression and things like that?
Yeah, that's correct. And it's a way of escaping from the reality, because the children don't feel good with the reality. Stress. With their parents. Okay.
Stress. That's a lot of pressure.
Okay, and the drug could cause the negative effects on the health and on their physical and mental health. Yeah.
Physical and mental health. Very good. Okay, let's go to another one now. I want you to try 72, 73, and 74, which are all related to history, okay? Oh wait, 1, 71, 72, 73 are all related to history. 71 is like describe a historical building that you are interested in. Miêu tả một tòa nhà lịch sử mà bạn đang hứng thú. Where it is, why you're interested in it, what the story is behind the building, có câu chuyện đằng sau cái tòa nhà đó không? Do you often visit it, and explain what you feel about the building. 72 is describe a historical figure or historical person that you're interested in. Miêu tả một cái nhân vật lịch sử mà các bạn hứng thú. You should say who the person is, what they did, why you're interested in that person, why they were important in history, tại sao họ lại quan trọng trong lịch sử. Explain how you feel about a person. And 73 is describe a historical event that you're interested in. Miêu tả một cái sự kiện lịch sử mà bạn hứng thú. You should say when that event happened. Sự kiện diễn ra lúc nào, ở đâu. Who were involved in that event? Ai đã tham gia vào sự kiện đó? What the historical significance, sự quan trọng lịch sử hay là cái meaning of the event is. Ý nghĩa lịch sử của sự kiện đó là như thế nào? Explain how you feel about the event. Giải thích bạn cảm thấy thế nào về sự kiện đó. And then part 3, what is or what are the best way or best ways to learn about history? Có những cách nào tốt nhất để học lịch sử không? Think about visiting museums, talk to war veterans, you know. Nói chuyện với những cựu binh chiến tranh. Talk to the old people who have lived through that time, you know. Nói chuyện với những người già mà đã sống qua cái thời đó. Talk to the old people who had lived through that time, or maybe read books about it, or watching movies, you know. What do you think? What are the best ways? And then next one, do you think visiting museums to learn about history is a good idea? Why not? Anh chị có nghĩ rằng thăm viếng bảo tàng để học về lịch sử là một ý tưởng tốt hay không? Tại sao không? And why should children and people learn about history? Tại sao con và trẻ em nên học về lịch sử? What do you think about the teaching of history in the school system of your country? Bạn nghĩ gì về sự giảng dạy cái lịch sử trong hệ thống trường học của đất nước bạn? Okay, these are the 3 topics that are very much related to each other. Let's start with 71, okay? 71 trước đã. Alright, please. Mr. Can you start first? Describe a historical building that you are interested in, please.
Well, I guess that one of the only historical building that I know around Ho Chi Minh City is Đức Bà Cathedral. I think that this building was constructed in the second half of 19th century or something like that, and it was a very famous building as a tourist attractions. A lot of foreigners like guests have come to Vietnam just to visit this cathedral. And as far as I know, that what I've learned from my history classes in school, I'm not really sure if the information is right, because that was a real long time since the last time I searched any information about this cathedral. But this building was built by the French, like during the period of the war. So it's been in the existence for nearly a century and like a century and a half now. So today we can still see its bright red bricks on the outside, and also with the architecture is French, and of course sort of some of the traditional old architecture. I think I haven't paid any visit inside the cathedral, so I just knew description of the outside. But I guess it was a really great and large cathedral for tourists to visit. And I usually pass the cathedral on the way of going to District 1 every week, sometimes, or I paid a visit to my friend's house. I've actually seen it only a couple of times. I often see the turrets, and also local people get together at the garden right in front of the cathedral, where there's a statue of someone that I do not remember the name, and sometimes couples who are going to get married get there to have their photographs, or tourists may have some photographs outside the cathedral as well.
That's a bit too much, don't you think? 2 phút thôi nha. You only have 2 minutes for each of these past task 2, you know.
Okay, so yeah, I must say that I'm proud of my city that has such a well-known church.
I see. Alright. Trung, please, your turn. Please describe a historical building that you're interested in.
Okay, so I am not a big fan of history or any history-related items, but there's one historical building that I am interested in is the General Pagoda in my home country.
Oh, the General Pagoda, I see.
Yeah. Okay, so it feels like the headquarters of every single pagoda in my hometown. Okay, so I am interested in this pagoda interested in this pagoda because it has a really big white statue of the Buddha located on a small hill, and if you want to reach the statue you need to climb about half an hour or an hour. Yeah. Okay. And it takes a considerable amount of time to reach onto the hill where the big white Buddha statue is located. Okay, and because I am not into history, so I couldn't tell what is the story behind this pagoda, but I do like this striking feature of the pagoda, and
Striking. Interesting.
And it feels like the Buddha is watching over the town. Yeah. And I in the past when my grandmother was still alive, she took me to the pagoda several times a month. But now as my grandmother is no longer with me, and so I occasionally visited this pagoda once a year to be correct. Okay, I visited pagoda after the New Year Eve with my father. Okay, so among a lot of historical buildings in my country, especially in my hometown, so this pagoda is the one that I have the big interest with it. Yeah.
Okay. Right. Okay, Phúc, your turn. Please describe a historical building you are interested in. Your microphone's on? Wait, I think Phúc just got into the room again. Okay. Now, you have something to do, Phúc, now.
Yes.
Câu 71 á?
Oh, it's well. It's really big. Yeah, you're interesting.
Okay, louder. I cannot hear you well.
Historical building.
Okay, that's better. Okay, try again. Describe a historical building that you are interested in.
Well, I think we're in the USA, and I think the historical building that I interested in is the State of Liberty in the US. I'm interested in it because I think it's gorgeous. I think it's kind of difficult to build because it's huge. And actually, I don't know. Sorry, about the study of liberty, but I just know that it's like famous, like it was famous things, famous historical building. And actually I never visited before, and actually because didn't I don't visit it before, so I don't have any feelings about it, but well, I think it's gorgeous.
Gorgeous is a good word to use now, I think. Very good. Alright, good. Let's try 72 now. Describe a historical figure or person that you're interested in. Một nhân vật lịch sử. Tăng độ khó lên xíu đó. It's a bit harder now. Okay, so Tường, remember, Đức Bà Cathedral is actually called the Notre Dame Cathedral in Ho Chi Minh City, I think. You can check for it. Yes, I think.
Oh.
The Notre Dame Cathedral in Ho Chi Minh City. Check it out. There you go. You see it? It's called Notre Dame Cathedral of Saigon, actually.
Oh.
Or Notre Dame Cathedral Basilica of Saigon. Or officially Cathedral Basilica of Our Lady of the Immaculate Conception. Oh well, but people just call it Notre Dame Cathedral of Saigon, okay? Nhà thờ Đức Bà ở Notre Dame Cathedral. Okay, so let's say historical figure that you're interested in, who this person is, what they did, why you are interested in that person, why they were important in history, and explain how you feel about that person. You have some time to think now. Alright. Jung, you first, please. Describe a historical figure or historical person that you are interested in, please.
Yeah. Speaking of a historical person that I am interested in, I really like Hitler. Despite the fact that a lot of people hate him. Okay, so what make me feel interested in Hitler is his skill of persuading people to follow his strategy on whatever to declare on the war or to eliminate another people or the cause the death. I don't care about that, but I really like the way he persuade the whole country, all of his followers, and Hitler, as everybody knows, play a crucial part in the history. Okay. Play crucial part in the history. Okay, he is hated by so many people, and some even consider him as the devil. Yeah, I do agree with that. But maybe because he's bad, so to each their own, they say. And I do because I feel sad for the family and the people that have suffered from the loss caused by Hitler. But I do appreciate. I do feel interested in his persuasions.
Persuasion, right?
Yeah, persuasion skill.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's what I really like about him.
Okay, good now. Alright. So please, your turn to describe a historical figure or person that you are interested in. We have Yung just came to the room. Yung, please prepare for 72 and 73 as well, okay?
Okay.
Alright. Tường, please, your turn.
Well, I guess that there's so many in Vietnamese history. There's so many prominent historical figures, but the one that impressed me the most is a girl called Võ Thị Sáu. She strikes me because during the French domination of Vietnam, she was only
Colonization, you mean? Colonization?
Yeah, colonization.
Sự là chiếm bằng thuộc địa. Colonization of Vietnam. Or you can say dominance. Dominance means like you dominate the others. Nobody dare to question you. But colonization is a different way. It's a different thing, you know. You take the land of other people. Chiếm đất của người khác. Làm thuộc địa. Đó là colonization. Dominance chỉ là sự mà áp đảo thôi. Không ai dám nói gì thôi. Okay, so continue please.
Okay, so yeah, and in that period of time, she was only 16 years old, I guess, but she was very brave and strong-willed when helping the Vietnamese army to drop bombs on the French soldiers. And also, besides that, she also, put out all her stops to help the Vietnamese army communicate with each other by letters to get the information from the enemies in any situations. And actually, what impressed me the most when watching documentary about her is that when she was arrested, she did not give up, but confidently, shout out the motto of Vietnam. Like, I actually.
Wait, what's that? Okay, right, good. I think that's all, right?
Yeah.
I see. All right. I guess that's it. Okay. Phúc, your turn to describe a historical person that you are interested in.
Well, I think that the historical event that I'm interested in was in 1975 when the Vietnamese military get back the Dinh Độc Lập, got back the Dinh Độc Lập and
got back the independent palace.
Got back the independent towers and
palace.
And the đuổi thầy, đánh đuổi.
They managed to shoo, the word to shoo, right? It's an informal way. Đuổi đi, to shoo away. To shoo away the enemy.
They shoo away the
but
US
actually
army.
It's best to say that they managed to defeat.
They managed to defeat the US army, and after that, Vietnam were, and after 1975, Vietnam was independent countries. And it's important because if that event don't happen, I think now Vietnamese was not independent.
What else then?
I felt proud of my country and glad because that historical event happened. Yeah.
Everything happened for a reason, I think. Okay, good. So, Dương, your turn to describe a historical figure. Ủa, sao vậy? Em nói về cái gì? Nó nói về cái sự kiện lịch sử, nó nói về cái hình ảnh lịch sử chứ đâu phải là nó nói về hình ảnh của một người nhân vật lịch sử, đâu phải là sự kiện lịch sử đâu, Phúc. Oops. Oopsie. Can you do 72 again, please? Can you do 72 again?
Em mới nghĩ ra sự kiện lịch sử nhưng chưa nghĩ ra người.
It's... You haven't thought about a person yet. Okay, your turn, please. 72.
Okay, so for a long time ago, there were two sisters. A long time ago in Vietnam, there are two sisters. It's Trinh Chắc and Trinh Nhị. So we simply call it
The two sisters, right?
two sisters
The
here.
twin sisters, actually. Họ là con giống như là sinh đôi ấy, the twin sisters.
Yeah, the twin sister. And two sisters is actually a queen at that time. It's actually a first time of Vietnamese, so we can call that the first queen of Vietnam, and maybe the first queen in the world after Cleopatra. And and both of them is actually really brave to save Vietnam from colonies. And they stood up for themselves. They speak they pursue Vietnamese people how to stand up for themselves and fight back for the Chinese colonies at the time. And I really admire her about that. And after we lost after that they have lost. They still know that they can. They still know they lost, but they still fight for themselves, for them country. And actually, it's a really important figures because they saved the Vietnam history first.
They saved the Vietnam history first. What kind of grammar is that? Ngữ pháp kiểu gì vậy? Try again that sentence.
Từ từ nha. Thì em nghĩ cái they keep the Vietnam độc lập là gì hả?
They keep the independence of this country.
Yeah, they keep the independence of this country for the first time of so for us they bring that tư tưởng là gì thầy?
Ideology.
Ideology
hoặc là idealism. Ideology là cái hệ tư tưởng á, cái tư tưởng ideology.
So that ideology still keep on now to protect our country and in every history. And it's interesting for me because how they brave, how they die, and the history moment of the two figures.
Okay.
That I love, yeah. Vậy thôi.
Okay, good. Right, okay, let's go to 73 now, class. A historical event you are interested in. And we have part 3, remember? Okay, so you have some time to think about this one now. Alright, let's start first with Mr. Please. Can you describe a historical event you are interested in, please?
Well, I guess that there are lots of, like, I'm always interested when talking about the Miss War, especially the event before our independence, from the period of until 1970, 75. Well, I think that this is the period Vietnam underwent hundreds of years under the colonization of the foreign invaders, and I think this is the last war before a new era of peace and independence is opened for our nation. And I think that it is an unforgettable period of history, and I want to get to know more about that. Firstly, I think that I'm quite impressed by the fighting spirit of Vietnamese soldiers and also Vietnamese people. I was at that period of time. I think that our country was divided into two parts, like the northern part and the southern part, and like all of the people, Vietnamese people were living in poverty with like famine everywhere, and the severe weather also with the poor conditions. But however, our soldiers still fought bravely with the support of
They
the
still
Vietnamese
fought. They still fought. Fight.
They still
Fought. Fought. They still fought bravely. They still fought bravely.
Yeah, with the support of Vietnamese residents. And I think that the other reasons in this historical event is about our proud leader called Ho Chi Minh. And because, when compared to such a well-armed country like America, it was hard to believe that we can defeat them. But yeah, with the bravery and the determination of the whole nation, like the whole nation with our leader, we have our own peace after almost 100 years being colonized by the other foreign countries. Yeah, and we also have the celebration, the annual celebration each year to be grateful for those who sacrificed for the country and for our Vietnam. So I hope that I think this is a really special day for all of the Vietnamese residents to be grateful and to never forget this important event of the nation.
Very good. Okay, very well. Now, Mr. Trung, please describe a historical event that you are interested in.
Okay, so as a fan of science, there's one historical event that I am interested in. That is the first landing on the moon. So the event happened in 1969, as far as I can remember. Okay, so the people who were involved in this event are Neil Armstrong and someone called Aldrin. Yeah. Okay, so I think this event has a really big impact on our on the human development of technology.
Okay.
It proves that we can challenge the difficulty of the nature. Going out of the space without no oxygen, and is on a very dangerous place like the moon, right? Okay, so it challenged all kind of the living condition required for a human to be alive. Okay, so although I am not a big fan of history, but I feel stunned and excited as this event is a big mark on the development of human technology. Okay, and thanks to the first landing on the moon, after that there have been many trips to space, and the stories and the books and the films are inspired by this historical event. Okay, so
Okay, very good.
yeah.
That's good enough, I guess. Okay. Young, please, your turn to describe a historical event that you are interested in.
So near the the end of World War II, they're really big.
World War
Oh.
II. World War II.
World War II is there one event, and actually two, is really important and actually really um, I don't know why, but yeah, it's Hiroshima and Nagasaki in Japan. It's actually two bom nguyên tử là
The two nuclear bomb, or we call them
nuclear
nuke.
bomb.
The two nukes.
Oh.
So you can call them nukes. The two nukes.
Two nukes. Two nukes in
that
Japan
was dropped
killed.
on Nagasaki and Hiroshima in Japan, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
And it's like a lot of people kill a lot.
It
I can say
killed
a lot.
instantly a lot of people, and also a lot of people suffered, you know. After that event, a lot of people died because of radiation, chết vì phóng xạ, and other things and other diseases related, you know.
And at that time, it's actually it's about 1945, so it actually have the nạn đói là gì thầy?
Say again.
Nạn đói, famine. Yeah,
There's a
famine.
famine afterwards. Cho nên mới dẫn
Yes,
câu
it
chuyện mà
happened.
của gọi là nó mới dẫn câu chuyện là gì ta? Grave of the Firefly, you know. You know that movie? There's a cartoon. It's called Graves of
I know.
Fireflies.
Yeah,
Don't you know
it's
that one?
actually it's from Ghibli, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I know that.
It's a 1988 film, Grave of the Firefly.
Oh, yeah. I
Remember
remember
this one?
that. Yeah.
Well, it took a lot of tears from people when this little child died because of famine, you know.
Yeah.
The people there died, of course, and then they suffered famine a lot.
So that two nukes is important from USA because they think that it will end the war sooner for about a month or a few months. But for the Japans, they don't think that is necessary. So after that, they cooperation with Germany to fight back the USA. So this history is actually really popular for the Wi-Fi users like me, internet users like me, and it's actually some things that everyone will bring that into the dark jokes to jokes about Japan's. So it's sometimes interesting me to find out what happened.
It's sometimes
interesting, so I can find out what happened to them a long time ago.
Okay. Right. Okay, so let's go to part 3 now. So, Mr. Trung, please, what is or what are the best ways to learn about history? What do you think?
In my opinion, the best way to learn about history is through the arts. In this situation, the art can be a movie, a book, a story, a painting, and when we are interested in the piece of art, we are encouraged to know more about the story behind that kind of art, and that's when we subliminally get into knowing the history.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I believe,
Anything else? And do you think visiting museums to learn about history is a good idea? Why not, Mr. Zhou?
Yeah. So I do believe that visiting museum to learn about history is a good idea because in the inside the museum we can find a lot of um, the remnants from the history. It can be the sculpture, it can be the painting, okay, and and people may find themselves interested in the arts and uh, and and they might have some question such as where was this art created and how was it created and what is the story behind uh, the art. So the museum is an environment that encourages people to know more about the history.
Okay, very good. So, Young, please, do you think, okay, why should children and people learn about history? What's the reason behind that?
So mostly it's actually for them to avoid the past mistake, really significant mistake, and for maybe for the adults, they will sometimes have the strategy for them life from that historical moment, maybe from just 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 some, so they and the children they will know about their own like how the world born and how the world
How the word
function.
gì?
Born,
Được sinh ra.
yeah.
Dùng sai rồi. How the gì?
Uh,
Wow.
How the gì?
how the world? Oh my god.
Cái gì được sinh ra?
Exists, I think.
How the world exists. Very good.
Yeah.
There you go.
How the world exists, and maybe learn about them own history, country, the history of their own country, and maybe sometimes it help them to
Từ gì? Từ gì?
more to thinking more. Yeah, because history is actually really important subjects in school, so they still have to learn it, and and it sometimes provide them about thinkings of their life. Yeah, like me.
Okay. So, Tường, please, what do you think about the teaching of history in the school system of your country?
To be honest, I guess that most schools in Vietnam still have the traditional state teaching style of history. Like they force students to study about the numbers, about the events, but they do not have, they do not tell them the stories behind and the connection between the two events together. So the students would never know about the meaningful or the significant stories behind each of the historical events to get to know more about each of the historical figure or events in the past. And also that students just study the numbers and also history like just a pet. They study words and words, like they learn by heart, but they do not understand they do not have a deep understanding in studying history. They just see that such as like as a subject which is boring and dull, so that they like most of Vietnamese students do not have the interested in history because of I think that like the most important reason is just because of a teaching system. They do not have the practical classes teaching about history. They do not show enough images or stories or videos. The like in the reality, they to show for the students. They just teach by the books, the reference books, and the words for the students to force them to learn those numbers as much as possible. So I think that if we want students to get to know more about history and interested in what happened, what had happened in the past, the teaching system in Vietnam should change the teaching style. We just cannot keep the traditional ones anymore.
Okay, very good. I think that's good for today now. It's enough for today. Okay, that's the end of my videos. Please like, share this video with your friends, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and press on the bell button next to the subscribe button so you can get notified about my new uploads, okay? You can also press follow my Facebook, but please don't add me on Facebook as friends, okay? Cảm ơn các bạn đã theo dõi nha. Các bạn hãy nhấn vào like, chia sẻ video này bạn bè các bạn. Nhấn vào nút đăng ký kênh YouTube mình và nút cái chuông kế bên cạnh để đăng ký kênh á, để mà các bạn sẽ được thông báo về những video mới nha. Các bạn cũng có thể nhấn vào nút theo dõi Facebook mình, nhưng nhớ đừng kết bạn Facebook mình nha. Thank you and see you. Bye.